I was talking again about ground and pound. Once you get the opponent on the floor, you said you mount them. Explain to the jury what you mean by that.
Okay, in positioning, if you have an individual ends up on the bottom, well, if you end up on the ground, you're going to end up in one of two positions, either on the top or on the bottom. If you end up in the bottom, you'll have somebody above you, and depending on what position they're in, they will be either more or less advantageous for the next movement that they're going to have to make. A mounted position would be something where if a person is lying, say, flat on their back, the person above them would have their legs above the other person's hips. So sitting across the waist, chest, as opposed to what's considered the guard position, where the person on the top would be between the individual's legs.
Okay. At the risk of personal injury, I'm going to ask the court to allow you to step down from the stand to give me an example of a mounted position.
Okay. Well, the way you stop an MMA fight, if you're the one who's losing, is you can tap, you can say, I quit, you can turn away where you face the other direction.
Keep all of that in mind as we go through this, okay? Tell me where you want me as far as I want you to show the jury what a mounted position is, as you being on top and maybe on the bottom.
Okay, so we'll have you just simply lay down, we'll have you on your back, and it might be helpful for them if you're sideways. Okay. So that's fine. So a mounted position, I would be in a position much like this.
And you said a moment ago that your legs are outside of my hips, correct?
Right, as opposed to a guard position where I would be between his legs, which would be much more of this nature, where here he's going to be able to use his hands and his legs and his arms to defend. Here he's not going to have the same ability to use the hands and legs to defend. Here he'd only be able to use his hands, and he'd be impaired somewhat, because I'm going to have both my hands and legs available.
Now, if you go to the mounted position again for a moment and tell me why that is a more powerful position.
Well, here I've got a scenario where there's a lot more that I can do to him than what he can do to me. Where you can see in the other scenario, there's more he can do to defend, to escape, to get out of that position.
And while I'm here, how can a person on the bottom attempt to get out from a situation like this?
There's a number of different things a person can do. One of them would be to attempt to pull the person down to bridge and roll over. Another one would be to attempt to escape your hips, which is similar to what's called shrimping.
Sorry, called what?
Shrimping. Or basically you get on your side, put one of my knees down, try to get your hips out, to get your leg around, to put me back into a position where I would be in what's called the guard.
Okay. Tap.
And tapping, you get it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Sir.